I once worked with this designer. She came from a middle-class Spanish family. They lived in Valencia and owned a city house and a house in the outskirts of the city, where they had palm trees in the garden and a swimming pool, all the jazz. We would often go for a lunch break together and discuss life and work, as you do. And once she said to me, "You know what? I spoke to my dad and I said to him that it really does not make any sense. You work all your life, you get some holidays, some weekends free, and you retire and you're almost 70, and maybe you're lucky enough to be in health, maybe you're not. What's the point of that? There must be a different way." And her dad replied, "No, I've looked into it, I've tried. There is no other way, and if you find one, let me know." Of course, if you're into financial independence, you know that there is another way. And if you're like me and you want to retire early, you know what to do. But it's very hard to get somewhere if you don't know your goal. So today I'd like to talk about what financial independence means to me and what my goal is and how I hope to achieve it. Ready? There's this great and very well-known story of Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller attending a party of a billionaire hedge fund manager. Vonnegut famously said to Heller, "How does it feel to know that this guy made more money in one day than your book, the very famous Catch-22, in its whole history?" And Heller replied, "Well, I have something that this man will never have. Enough." I think you will agree that it's super important to know you're enough. How else will you know that you made it? I have two enoughs. A small enough, what I call easy does it or light early retirement, and a hard enough, what I call a challenging financial independence goal. They both take into consideration the 25 times your yearly expenses rule. I know that living in the UK, I should really make it 28.5 times to accommodate different fees and trading in international markets. That 25 times rule applies to America. But I'm lucky enough to actually really like what I do. So I know that it's very unlikely for me to stop working. The more books I read about happiness, the more convinced I am that work plays such a major part in it that removing it from my life would not be wise. So 25 times yearly expenses should cover for me more than enough. So what are my enough numbers? My small enough number is £300,000. That will allow me to work part-time in any field I'm interested in. It will allow me to future-proof my pension pot, which means I will not touch the principal, just live off part of the interest and let me retire early. The challenging pot, the 700k, will allow me to be mortgage-free, do my house up and cover what the small pot covers as well. How do you imagine your retirement? It's a very important question to ask, I find. For a very long time I thought it would be a beach holiday for me. But then I went to Tunisia with my sister and we bought one of those all-inclusive packages. After a day, I was so bored. The place had seemingly everything. Unlimited food, swimming pools, private beach, all the comforts you can think of. But it did not allow for any surprises. It did not allow for any delights. Remembering that is enough for me to know that my idea of financial independence is closer to this. Imagine you wake up, it's autumn, and it rained at night. You open the window and you can smell the earth after the rain. Because it's autumn, the air is becoming crispier and crispier. The sun is shining through the trees in your garden, and you suddenly realize that you actually want to enjoy this day. You don't want to go to work. So what you do is you text your boss and you say, I'm going to either take a day off, or if you really need me, I can work another day next week, because you work part-time. Guilt-free. No question asked. You get dressed, and in my case, I put my running clothes on and I go to the nearest park for a relaxed run. I just enjoy watching the leaves, the changing colors of the seasons. I just love autumn. On my way back, I pop into my local shop and get a croissant. And then I come home, I open the door to my garden, I sit down with a freshly made cup of coffee and have my croissant. And maybe read a book, maybe just sit there and then decide what to do with the rest of the day. So that is my vision of an early retirement. Seems simple and achievable, but how will I get there? I don't think much has changed in terms of gaining financial independence. It's all about earning, saving, investing, and compounding. I believe that slow and steady wins the race. I'm planning to invest passively and actively, and also rely on active and passive income. And aim for my lower number first, because what I want to do is to enjoy the journey. I come from a family of business owners. As a kid in primary school, I would sell fizzy drinks to customers of my parents' business. In high school, I would help my parents unload a truck of lollipops because they ran a wholesale business of candies and sweets. But what I remember most from my childhood is that the conversation would always involve money and business. And this is something I personally want to avoid. Money is important to me. Retiring early is important to me, but not by any means, and not letting it become the main focus of my life. Possible twists? I could sell the house I live in and then become mortgage-free much earlier and achieve my goals much sooner. I could also choose what I called alternative reality and move back to where I come from. This is highly unlikely, but just for fun, I'm going to prepare a video in which I'm going to talk about what my life could look like in Poland right now with the net worth I already have. These are my financial independence goals and early retirement goals. When will I achieve them? I don't know. I know the numbers and I do have a plan, but I do not want to go crazy just because things did not go according to my plan. Life happens. I want to enjoy the journey. I want to invest in myself, invest in things that bring value to my life, develop my skills, develop my interests, and pour loads of passion and time into my projects and my side hustles, so that when I actually arrive and when I actually reach my small or big enough, I will have more time for these things. Instead of having loads of time, I have no clue what to do with. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear your stories. I would love to know what your plans are, what your enough numbers are. And please share them in the comment section below. And speak to you soon.